In the recent patches, there were plenty of changes to EU4 idea groups. 3 new idea groups introduced plenty of updates to other ideas and plenty of updates to policies as well as the new policies. Having this in mind, I would like to present to you a very thorough guide on EU4 policies. It will be split on 3 parts, so today I'm gonna focus purely on administrative group ideas. I'm gonna run through all 7 of them. So without further ado, let's get to that. And by the way guys, I see that only half of you are subscribing, so if you want to enjoy more of this content, why don't you subscribe right now? First idea group that we should discuss today is administrative. Administrative ideas is one of the best idea choices for playing wide. Just take a look at the bonuses we have here. Admin advisor cost, okay, this is good for just more mana generation. Possible advisors is pretty useless. Co-creation cost is the one and key bonus that you're getting here. Because this co-creation cost is not only decreasing the cost of making the new cores from the provinces that you conquered, but also is decreasing the time to core these provinces. So if you get 65% co-creation cost, for example, you can core any province within 9 months, which means rebels won't be able to load if you just core everything as fast as possible. Then we also have promote culture cost, which is meh. Stab cost modifier is cool, but also not the best. Monthly autonomy change is pretty nice, but it's not a huge of a bonus. Admin tech cost, and then second most important bonus for admin, which is gathering capacity modifier. Once again, for playing wide, just perfect. I think in general the bonuses are around co-creation cost and gav capacity. The rest of them are pretty meh, but look at the policies as well. They have also 2 very important policies for playing wide. First one is with influence ideas, which is giving you diplomatic annexation costs, so you can cheaper and faster annex your subjects. While the second bonus is with court ideas, which is another co-creation cost modifier. I think that in general, admin ideas are almost a must-have for any wide gameplay when you want to conquer as much as possible, as fast as possible, but I would say that in most of the cases, it's not a good choice for the first idea group. Why? First of all, you are rather having problems with Agrus expansion than mana for coring, and if you have issues with coring, then just create subjects in every game. And on top of that, you also want to get to Tech 7 on administrative to unlock the second idea group. So you rather do not pick idea group as the first one, because otherwise you won't have enough to rush this technology. So if anything, that's a second idea group, or maybe a bit farther. For example, if you need more gav capacity besides the co-creation cost modifier. And having this in mind, I'm gonna put admin ideas as A tier. This is not the best idea group. This is must-have for wide gameplay, but it's pretty useless for tall gameplay. It's pretty useless for multiplayer gameplay. That's why I will not put them on the S tier. Second idea group that we should talk about is economic. It used to be a must-have idea group for tall gameplay and the multiplayer gameplay, so it was definitely an S tier group, maybe between an A and S tier group in the past. It's not anymore. Now it's still pretty decent because it has a couple of very good advantages. Let's take a look at it. We've got tax modifier, which is actually pretty strong in early game. Inflation reduction, so if you have issues with loans or gold mine, this is very nice. Production efficiency is okay-ish, but production is not important until mid and late game. But the bonus that we see here, so development from manufacturers, is one of the most underrated bonuses in all of the idea groups, because it's free development. You can convert money into development. Isn't that just beautiful? Of course, because manufacturers are unlocked a bit later in the game and they cost so much, so you need to build the economy, Eco Ideas is not the best choice for early game. If you rather choose it, it's probably similar case to admin, second, third, fifth, a bit later into game. What else we have here? Gold depletion chance and inflation reduction loan repayments, another reason to take Eco when you have issues with loans or when you have too many gold mines. Land maintenance modifier, too bad it's only 5%. Then we have interest per annum, and that's my second favorite bonus in this idea group, because interest per annum allows you not only to take more loans, but also to take them cheaper. So you can, sometimes if you stack more interest per annum, you can just go ahead and build up your country on the loans. At last, we've got merchant, which is a new adjustment, and goods progress modifier, which is one of the best bonuses for your economy. But again, it's not necessary for the early game. So these bonuses, I would say, they're kind of meh. They brought down eco ideas very low, but these ideas still have one huge advantage, and that advantage is their policies. It's still one of the top tier ideas for multiplayer games because of 5% discipline and 10% artillery combat ability, but also has some good economic bonuses like with naval ideas, production goods progress modifier, with trade ideas where there's trade efficiency and production efficiency. Wasn't it 20% trade efficiency? I think they changed that. So to sum up, eco ideas is still pretty important for your multiplayer games, but maybe not anymore a second choice. I would say that wouldn't be my second choice. It's close to useless on single player unless you really want to play it all, but it's still not as important like, for example, infrastructure ideas, to which we move soon. And having these two things in mind, I'm gonna put eco ideas in B tier. Sorry. Next idea group in the queue is expansion. This is a key idea group in a very specific type of the gameplay, so focused on colonies. Personally, I prefer them over exploration ideas because it gives you 2 colonies, it's a bit focused on the economy, and it's very useful when you're also focused on your navy, because expansion and naval ideas, the policy with them is giving you huge force limit to your navy. There are also 2 other very interesting policies that you might not be aware of, because one of them is new. With merc ideas, you will not pay any mana for force march. But having in mind force march is since stack 15, it's mid-game, late-game bonus. While at the same time with the aristocratic ideas, which is very less likely when you play colonial, but with aristocratic ideas you can stack more construction cost modifiers. So build your buildings in the provinces cheaper. I think this one is very straightforward because as this is idea group that is really good, but only in a very specific scenario, this is gonna land next to economics in the B tier. Next idea group, so humanist, is another idea that is extremely useful in wide gameplay, especially when you are not having too many bonuses to the stability of the country, because humanist lets you expand a lot without caring much about the rebels. Humanist ideas itself is a very nice combination of the bonuses I just mentioned, so stability of the country, which is like national unrest, years of separatists, which is super useful because it's decreasing the amount of the unrest that you are getting from newly conquered provinces, tolerance of the heretics and heavens, as well as religious unity, max promoted cultures, and maximum tolerance of heretics and heaven, so the maximum bonus to negative unrest that you can get in a province. And besides this stability focused bonuses, humanist ideas is also having 2 top tier bonuses that are not focused on the stability. One of them is improve relations, which allows you to fight potential collision, and another one is idea cost, which is super nice. And actually all of this make humanist idea a very good first or second pick, because early on you don't have much manpower, you don't have much money, so you care about rebels a lot, you care about aggressive expansion a lot, and you care about idea cost a lot to finish your national ideas. As for the policies, there is one of my favorites, which is together of offensive ideas, which is even more years of separatist bonus and another national unrest. So combination of those 2 will help you a lot with potential rebels. There's another improve relations with diplomatic ideas, so if you do care about stacking this bonus, this is a good combination. You can get even more tolerance of the heavens and heretics with divine ideas, or if you take trade, you can actually go ahead and get another idea cost modifier. And here I think I have a really tougher job to decide what tier humanist is on, because honestly it's better than A tier, but it's not good enough for S tier, because if I put them in S tier I'll be saying no, they cannot be higher than admin. But then again, if I put it in 8 here, yeah, they're better than that. Well, let's just keep both of them, admin and humanist, in an 8 tier then. Next idea group to discuss is one of the 3 ideas that were added in 1.35, which is infrastructure. Now, I'm sure a lot of you are interested in my opinion on that, and I think this is a new economic idea. I mean, new must-have if you want to play tall. Let's take a look why. So we are starting with the state maintenance bonus, which might allow you to go and state more provinces, which will be in combination with another bonus that will come soon in this idea group. And also if you want to use state days, like for the dev cost, for example, you can pay cheaper. And there's also global prosperity growth, which allows you to get to the maximum prosperity faster. And as you know, prosperity is another dev cost and goods progress modifier. There's construction cost that was moved from the economic ideas. And there's expand infrastructure cost, minus 25%. It's cool. Expand infrastructure is extremely strong, but only if you really play tall. It's useless in the wide gameplay because of the gap capacity modifiers that it's giving. But this is a really good bonus for the tall gameplay. Then we have movement speed as something military, as well as the center of trade upgrade cost, which is another good for tall gameplay. States government cost. This is lovely and it's really of huge use. We have fort maintenance, which is kind of random honestly, but it's infrastructure after all. Fort is an infrastructure. So yeah, I guess it's fine. Construction time and expand administration cost. Now this might be a bait, and this expand administration cost, because this is about this button, right? So if I just go and type reform progress, yes, Zlewikk, you're cheating, you'll see that I click it a few times, but see at this point I'm already paying 68 points. Because my cost of expanding administration is huge. If I go back here, you see that my expand administration cost is 240%, because for each click I'm getting 20%. So I get minus 100% from infrastructure ideas. This is gonna be 140% instead of 240%. So it's a very decent bonus, but it's not game breaking. And then the finisher of infrastructure ideas is, yes, past finisher of eco ideas, so the development cost. But it's 10%, not 20, like eco ideas used to have. Alright. How about policies? There are a few very useful policies around here. For example, with the diplomatic ideas, you're getting not only deeper reputation, which is good to get new allies, annex your subjects quicker, get them more loyal, but also years for personal union integration, minus 10. So you can integrate your personal union after 40 years instead of after 50 years. Small, but I think a very useful change. With offensive ideas, you're getting another movement speed, so you have 15% in total, but also artillery levels available versus fort. So instead of 5 bonus on the siege, you can get 7 bonus on the siege if you get enough cannons. This is more than useful, guys. This is an extremely useful bonus. Of course, if you can afford it, but if you're playing tall, you can, right? With mercenary ideas, you're getting mercenary discipline, so for mercs only, that's also pretty useful. With quantity, you are getting reinforced speed and reinforced cost. I keep saying that in many occasions, but reinforced speed is one of my favorite non-quality military bonuses, because it allows you to keep fighting fast and a lot while reinforcing your troops faster. With quality, you have yearly army professions, which is a very rare modifier, and yeah, of course army professions is a bit nerfed right now, but still this is pretty useful because it means that every 10 years you're getting 2 army professionals, every 100 years you're getting 20%. So for the whole campaign, you can get pretty much over 70% of army professionals from this. Well, with trade ideas, you're getting global trade power, which is mech, but goods progress modifier. Yes, I told you I love this. Why finally with exploration, there's another underrated bonus. Colony development boost +1. I'm not sure how it works. I think it should work that you get +1 of each development, like you have right now in Age of Exploration. So imagine that you're playing as Portugal. You start with exploration. You get your perk from Age of Discovery quick, and then you get infrastructure ideas on the 7th deck. You're combining these two, and you are getting +6 development for each colony. Of course, if I'm right, because I did not test it, I'm not 100% sure. So it's either +3 or +6 development for each colony. In both cases, It's really nice and strong. And now imagine that you're playing as Portugal, you're moving your capital to the new world, and you're combining this two. Infinite development. So having this in mind, infrastructure ideas from me is another A-tier idea group. Because again, it's must-have for tall gameplay, but it's pretty useless for wide gameplay. That's why I cannot make it an S tier. Another idea group to have to discuss, I think, is in many cases fan favorite, innovative ideas. Okay? Now, well, in my opinion, it's very overrated. For many of you, it might be S tier or A plus tier. It's not for me. Let's take a look why. So you start with Persist Decay, like in single player. Really, you can just keep it on 100 easily. Innovativeness gain. Since they changed how you get innovativeness, when you're taking technologies ahead of time and ideas before the others, you're getting double than you used to get. Since then, innovativeness gain modifier is useless because you can get tons of innovativeness without innovative ideas. You can even get to 100 easily. So this is like, okay, you can get faster to 100, but then, you know, long term, is it really useful? Then we have tech cost, which is one of the best bonuses that we have over here. And institution embracement cost is not a big of a difference. Possible advisors, useless. Institution spread, okay, but I mean 25% is changing almost nothing. Then we have monthly war exhaustion, monthly splendor, which is okay in both of the cases, but still nothing really even mediocre. The last bonus, free policies, is super great. It's really, really great, but tell me guys, how many of you played the game enough, so probably till the 1600s, to actually have like any possibility to have enough policies to use this bonus? Not many, right? And probably, if anything, on one idea, like on one type of the policies, not all three of them. And it's also playing against the idea of innovative. Because if you take innovative, you should take it like very early into game, because you have the tech cost, you have the innovativeness gain, you have the institution spread, you have the advisor cost to pay cheaper for advisors, get more mana, and then you have a late game modifier, which is free policies. It doesn't play well together. And again, for advisor cost, this is my favorite bonus from these ideas. Especially that they nerfed advisor cost from the estates. I'd say 20% is not game breaking. For me, these are B tier modifiers. The only thing that could convince me are policies, because they have really decent policies. So with quality ideas, you have one of the most interesting military modifiers, which is infantry combatability. 15%, used to be 20, then they nerfed it to 10%, now it's 15, which is something in between, and I think it's a good balance. With curved ideas, you have decent modifiers, average monarch lifespan, so if you get a nice monarch, you can keep him longer, and no stability loss on the monarch's death, so it's right away makes it pretty useless if you play as a republic. With Diplo, you have another advisor cost and diplomatic reputation, trade efficiency of trade, and interest per annum, so I get more loans and cheaper. While finally, I do really like influence ideas modifier, which is the advisor cost again, and aggressive expansion impact, so it might help you playing more aggressively. But still guys, I don't know what you see in innovative ideas. And that's why I want you to tell me in comments, if you have a big fan of innovative ideas, convince me that it is not a B tier idea group. It's not C, because really good policies, and there's two modifiers, which is advisor cost and tech cost, but convince me that this is not a B tier idea group if you do not agree with me. And it's the same for any other idea that I listed today, okay? Last administrative idea I have to talk about is religious. One of my favorites, so let's take a look what bonuses we are getting here. So obviously, as it's religious ideas, it's very much focused on converting your nation and getting modifiers out of it. So you've got additional missionary and maintenance cost. We have manpower and the true faith promises. It's kinda military modifier, and not a very decent one. If you convert everything, you have pretty much 10% national manpower modifier. Then we have missionary strength plus 3%. This is huge and very useful. Tolerance of the true faith. So if you don't know how tolerance of the true faith works, is that, you know, there is a national honors that applies to every province, but also then every province has a modifier coming from the religion. So for example, for Hungary, you can see you have tolerance of the true faith on the level of 5. So every province that is Catholic is getting -5 unrest, which is super useful. On the other hand, if you go to Orthodox, which is a heretic province, I have -1 tolerance. And this -1 tolerance, as you can see, is giving us over 1 unrest in this local province. So stacking tolerance of the true faith might be something super useful. Then you have bonuses for papal influence. So if you're playing papal in this case, but you can see they listed pretty much everything. So if you're playing any religion, you should take advantage of that. Prestige from the development permission nice. If your province has 10 development, you get +1 prestige. So pretty much perma 100 prestige if you have plenty of provinces to convert. Religion tradition, which is also new. Other of the same religion opinion of your country +10 might be useful, especially versus coalitions for Catholic and Muslim nations mainly, because these two have plenty of potential enemies. And then one modifier that makes this one of the best idea groups, Deus Vult, which works the way that you have a casus belli on any nation that is bordering you and has a different religion. And how it works is that you can take how many provinces you want in the peace deal and you don't pay anything for unjustified demands. So you don't pay any diplo points for this peace deal, and the war is about winning battles. And at last, we have also culture conversion cost, which might be useful for you if you're going for one culture, but I know 99% of you don't care about going one culture. So having this in mind, I have exactly the same comment here as for admin ideas. So it's a great idea group, but in most of the cases, because of course you will find hundreds of examples where it's worth to take us first, but in most of the cases, use expand early game within the same religion. Mostly, that's what I'm telling you. You don't have that many provinces to convert because of that. You don't need Deus Vult because of that. Usually, many nations have also claims in the mission tree, so you don't need Deus Vult casus belli. That's why religious idea, second choice, third choice, but definitely one of the must-haves for the wide gameplay, unless you are horde or you have any different sources of the casus bellis. How about the policies? Well, there's this saying in the MP community is that religious idea is one of the best military ideas in game without taking military idea slot. Why? Just take a look what you're having. With divine ideas, more of armies. Quality ideas, siege ability and morale damage. Quantity ideas, more of armies and recover army morale speed. Mercenary ideas, another more of armies. So you can get pretty much in any run, especially multiplayer, 2 different policies for the quality for armies just from religious, which makes them really useful. So actually no, religious might be great for wide gameplay, religious might be great for the multiplayer gameplay, it's pretty much a must-have in most of the cases. For tall gameplay, probably not as much, depends, I see some use cases for it. But having this in mind, religious idea is gonna be the only administrative idea group that I'm gonna pick on S tier. And again, why? Because it's not about how good this idea group is, only one area. It's about on how many different use cases this idea group has. I think religious is having enough use cases and very strong use cases to be an S tier. So guys, I wanted to actually record one video from all of the idea groups tier list, but I want to explain you so much from every idea that I'm gonna split it on 3 videos. One for admin, one for the diplomatic, and one for the military idea groups, which I'll everything keep on this one tier list. So after the 3rd video, you have the full list of these ideas. So today guys, thank you so much for watching. Let me know by liking this video if you really did learn something new here and would like to learn more from the next videos. You can find in the pinned comments my EU4 ABC playlist when I explain this kind of stuff for different areas of the game, my knowledge sharing for you. And of course subscribe to the channel to get notified about these future videos. Bye!